Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to see who comes on tonight. I'm definitely on for a good hour. Looking to see who comes through. Um, See what we talking about tonight. See if anybody come through. Definitely going to see what we talking about. You're going to see what we got. See if people got. You know. See what's up. You know. You know. I mean, what's going on? See what we talking about. Man, we're going to see what's up. I'm just chilling right now. So I see some names, but I don't see nobody coming through. We're going to see what's up. Anyway, just up here, just chilling, chilling. See if anybody's coming through. Oh. See if somebody gonna come through. Taking my time. What I got? Let's see. I know people probably out enjoying some of the sun right about now. Some are, some aren't. Let's see what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna wait. What's up? So we're working with. Just sit here and just kind of wait it out. Like I said, I know I took a little time today, so we'll see. I don't see nobody coming through. We're just waiting. We're waiting and we're waiting. I don't think nobody didn't hit yet. Interesting. Let's see what we got. Oh. What's up, man? How you doing? How you living? Yeah. What's going on with you? Yeah, I'm gonna have to eat crow. So much for my heavyweight prediction. That ain't no heavyweight. That's like Larry Holmes and Maurice Frazier, or that's like Mike Tyson. And I don't know if he's getting. I don't think he's getting exposed. See, that's the only way I disagree with you on. I think that if anyone is getting exposed, is Porter and Gooden. And yeah, I don't think. And Murray's hurt. I'm not making excuses, but he's hurt. He's a step off. But I don't think he's getting exposed. He still almost got a triple double. He's still. The thing is this: he is just being sped up, and they're getting at him. But it's not like he's not getting his off. But Portis and Good, Drew Good, they were held under 10 points each. That's exposed. Them bigs and Porter can't make a shot unless, of course, it's within the flow. Because you don't really stop a guy like Jokic. Jokic beats you in different ways. It's the other cats who they depend on scoring more than that. That guy got to he's got to facilitate. As a matter of fact, if Jokic was to just pull a Magic Johnson and score 10, do it the old Jason Kidd 10-10-10 thing, he would still be within his realm because he's not there to really bust you for 30 plus points. But the problem that they run into is they just can't score. And one thing I did tap into last night, quiet as it's kept, and it's not so quiet, they need a cherry picker. They don't have easy buckets. If Jokic ain't going strong, they don't have easy buckets. And to make matters worse, it just makes the Lakers look bad too. You know, I think that that's what's up. It's just that you're going against a team that's matches you, and sometimes that's what's the problem is. They're going against a team that can match them. Size, speed. Um, and remember what I told you about Denver. They don't have a bench. So if they can't match the size power and can't score, they're gonna have a problem. And that's what is happening. Because the Timberwolves are able to turn them over, bring the bench in, make a run. Okay. Okay, I got some Cavs fans here tonight. Okay. Good luck though. Good luck. They can win a couple of games against Boston. They can win a couple of games. It's not far fetched. Can they win four? No. But they can win unless of course Brown sucks it up or Tatum sucks it up. No. They mean then they gon' then you see what happened this year, then that's what I told you what they should do. Hard heads. Hard heads. Yeah, but he's a scoring machine too. And that series could go deep if Indiana follows my blueprint. So now that I got a chance to see it, I'll tell you the keys. They had the inside, just like Philly had the inside. You got to make them barbecue chicken against the Knicks. You cannot let them beat you with guard play. You're playing into their hands. Why is not common sense ever used against small butt teams? Make them pay. Get easy buckets. Tyler better step it up. He pulled a Tobias Harris last night. Boy, if you can score 10 points, you win that game last night. But that 3-pointer before halftime came back to haunt him. That was the turning point. And I could tell by his reaction. It's always one of them plays. Should have been up by 9, you up by 6. Turning point. Riddle. We end up losing by 4. Not a lot separates these two teams. But the Pacers have to do a better job of dominating. They have to pound them. They have to force New York into free. They have to force the ref's hand if you want to know. Tim Johnson upset what? What's the upset? Cleveland over Boston? If the only way they beat Boston is everybody's got to score and Donald's got to play. I got OKC. But the powers that be want the Mavericks. The powers that be want the Mavericks. But if Shea is that dude, then this is the time. I like OKC, a young upstart team. I like what I'm seeing. Now, can Luka go off? We'll see. He got time to do it. I think that series could go 6 or 7. I think OKC may be better than people give them underestimate them. To be honest with you, the Shea versus Ant would be off the chain if you want my honest opinion. That would be off the chain. So, but that's just me. But Brunson, that boy's a beast. That boy's a beast. Cause I'm gonna tell you something. He be putting it down. I like Brunson. Yeah, they flop, but they go for it. Yo, what's up? Mr. Sing with the Sings and the Harris. What's up? If he gets to the next round and he gives Boston a strong run, then yes. Right now he's on the cusp. I think he got to get to play Boston, and I think he got to come up. They got to go at least 6 games deep before I say that. But it's different. Jay Will, that's a great question. They're different because Shea can do things that Russ couldn't do. And Shea is actually like a hybrid of Russ and KD, and he speeds up the tempo. And then you got Chad in the middle. So it's two different animals at work. That OKC team was more talented overall because you had Russ, you had Harding, a puppy at the time, and you had KD and Serge Ibaka. I'm not a fan of flopping because they said they were outlawing it this year. I would have agreed with you in the past, but didn't they say they were going to legislate the outlawing it? So now they're going to let it be because he wears a Knicks uniform. I mean, let's get the stories correct. Let's keep it 100. I was told that it was the end of flopping. That's what I was told. That's the reason why LeBron played by 15 more games because he didn't roll on the floor. I'm just saying what's happening. All right, man. Well, thanks, man. I ain't trying to get no house in no trouble. Appreciate you, but Glad to see you, Tom. Appreciate you. But no, everything's all respectful. And I'm respectful. Everybody's ladies. So ain't anybody go home get no trouble. No troubles. No troubles. I keep it respectful. But appreciate it though. Just be out there exercising and doing my thing, but not trying to cause nobody get no problems. But well, cherry picking, I agree with Ted. But I am a flopper. Cherry picking, yeah, because everybody cherry picks today. I mean, that's what you got guys to do today. I mean, people used to frown on it, but they can't frown on it today. They get guys to cherry pick because if a guy is shooting threes, that's what he's supposed to do. He ain't got no real position today, so just saying. It's a different era in that regard. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna do a video about that, but and see, that can make it look like it's more than what it is. I would hope that it ain't nothing stupid. This is not Tupac and Biggie. What I will say about Cat, if you let him plant his foot on the rock, like the top behind the top of the key, the 3 point, that seems to be his that's the only spot he like. You don't get him off that spot, you gonna get swept. You gotta make Cat move his body. You can't let him sit there and plant. He's planting his feet like this is my spot. He's just staying there like phew. He just be standing there behind the top, the key, hash behind the 3 point. I'm like, he stands in the same spot. That cracks me up. Haven't y'all not figured out? I don't care if you gotta roll him in his legs. You can't let him just stand and be comfortable. But he's a straight 20 points a game, and he's comfortable now too. Yeah, and he's comfortable with it. That's the scary part. No, what's happening to Denver is that they're exposed that they don't have a third option. That's the exposure. And Murray's hurt, so they really don't have a 1.5 option. That's the problem. 'Cause KCP ain't doing nothing. I told you in that Lakers series that y'all choked away and LeBron or underwhelmed and AD didn't scream up to it to scream to get more touches. They should have won that series. That's what's happening. Denver been acting like they had a hangover, especially on offense. Defensively, they're okay, but their offense is discombobulated. They're not scoring. There's no rhythm. There's no drive. They just look stalemate, like they're in a daze. Like they think they can just turn a switch on. I'm like, y'all not that good. You have a great, all-time great player, and then you have a very good, great potential player. And after that, you got pieces and ribs. You ain't that good to get over like that. I didn't see him as a superstar in Dallas, but I saw him as a definitely a second, third option. Didn't see that. Not quite like that. Because they didn't show me much against Golden State. He looked pretty good in spurts. I didn't feel like he was like that. But they lucky they got Kyrie. Because if they didn't have Kyrie and they traded Brunson, then Luca's legacy would definitely have a big old asterisk question mark for letting that guy leave town. If Kyrie can get to the third round or they be successful together, then it might not the sting might not be as much. But Brunson is balling on. And besides, He came to New York and he's balling because a lot of cats go to New York and they fade under the midnight sky. I like Dante. I like Dante. I like Dante. Dante's a nice piece. He's definitely a nice piece, but they still need another score in New York. They need a cherry picker. Yes, it is. That's the only thing. If you give Brunson a Donovan Mitchell right now, I'd say they go to the finals. They need some or Chris Middleton type. You give them somebody like that with Julius Randle, they go to the finals because that's all they need. They don't need KD too slow. I'm talking about a guy that's playing now that could do something. I said Chris Middleton, Donovan Mitchell. I'm not talking about no grandpa that is not really because to be effective there, he have to score 35 to 40. He'd have to when you remember when I told you he don't have that animal instinct where he don't go off, he'd have to go off there. And they don't have enough juice for him. You got to have an alpha and you got to have some wood. Yeah. Well, didn't you not see the series against Ant? I mean, D Book scored 49. Bradley Beal scored. What happened? You got to have a certain type of talent around him. That's not going to. Brunson will be, but you need one more. And I'm telling you, Chris Middleton or a Donovan Mitchell with Brunson would be the ticket. KD's too old now, man. He got his butt waxed in that last series. And he never really, you know, I ain't saying about no Devin Booker. I never said anything about D Book. Book is a junior whopper KD, but he can score more. He crazy and he will shoot the rock. But you got to put him in a team that has an alpha guard. That's the only way he's going to thrive. He's not a true point guard. So you got to find a place where he can shine. He's cherry picked too, but you got to find the right place for him. I'm thinking, where would that be? He'd actually be a good fit with Denver right now. If they could make that happen, if you had Booker with Jokic and Murray, mm-hmm, either way you go. Or he, look, this ain't no old folks home. Pop ain't gonna want stop trying to give KD off. It ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. The only place really for KD, if you want my honest opinion, is back to Golden State. It's got to be a veteran-led team with one last good run. He can't go no young team because he's holding up progress. They'll strip him. He's dependent on shots, the rotation. You got to have too much, and San Antonio don't have that yet. If Wimby with Wamba and you get him a legit point guard and a bench, then you might get him to a 500 team. Not no 23 win team with he ain't going there. Yeah, you like the book of the Denver thing. That would be sick. Because that might be his last hope. A real dream team. Anything less and he's just stealing money. You can't see him playing with Green. Who are you talking about? Playing with Green? Who? Playing with Green. I'm stomped on that one. Oh, okay. I know what you mean now. He may not have no choice. And you may be ready too, Ted. I mean, he might not have a choice. Because you got to stop to think. Cat ain't gonna have us so many options, you know. I mean, he older, and you got to remember he's tried these made ready for made meal teams. He left a sure thing with Golden State. Okay, it was OKC, and he went to Golden State and he hit his peak prime. Then he went to Brooklyn, which could have been something. They didn't play no defense. They had no leader, and they had a coach who was inexperienced. They had no bench, and then they got exposed, and then he got hurt. Then you go on where he tried to follow it, and it works in Golden State if you've got the right components. If I don't think Draymond would say nothing at this stage because they look bad. They need somebody to give him some rejuvenation. So I don't think he'll be. I think he'll be on his best behavior. Well, the difference between him and LeBron is LeBron used the right pieces for the most part. You go get D Wade, you have Bosh. You get Kyrie, you get Love. You get Anthony Davis. The problem is in LA, he hasn't been able to track that third wheel. That's the problem. And they've been in search of something ever since. So that's the problem. I would say it shocked me. It shocked me not so much that they won the first two games, but it's the way they won it. Let me say that because they out muscled them. They got what they wanted, and then on top of that, they got physical with them. They ran them, and they really don't have an answer. I thought it was going to be, as I told Ted, I thought this was going to be a heavyweight fight that I'm looking forward to see the next 2 3 years. I don't want to see this again because uh, what's going to happen is that Minnesota's only going to get better. And ain't even hit his peak in his prime. Djokovic probably got about, after this year, 2 to 3 more top tier years. But what's going to happen with them others? And are they going to ever get a guy who can score? They got to get somebody with him and Murray. Well, KD do be holding emotions, but he may have no choice. They got their butt handed to them. That's what you saw. They got their cheeks clapped. Malone was irate because he couldn't stop it. They were running him over, no respect. And Jamal got mad because he was getting posted inside. Too light, too small. Oh, what happened? They got manhandled. And he's probably mad because they can't do nothing. They might. And suspend him for what? I mean, well, that's not the problem. Jokic is a great player. It's not about athleticism. It's about the fact that guys can't score. Okay? And ain't nothing changed with Jokic. It's just that usually when you play against him, because he's such a machine, you put two people on him. You don't want him to stack you up, and then you got Murray knows every team ain't equipped like Minnesota. Let's keep that 100. But that's where you got fought with LeBron James because if you're a facilitator, I don't care how old you are, you get those triple doubles, you supposed to get those others involved. They should have won that series, and they didn't. Anthony Davis should have been averaging 35 points in the series. He wasn't. He was held back. Who held him back? Wasn't his coach. Well, Gordon wasn't exposed. Who bought him anyway? He had one great game in the playoffs against the Lakers. He is athletic. He can dunk. He rebounds. He blocks. He play hard. He's not no 3 point specialist, and he's too inconsistent as a scorer. He's not no big time scorer. So don't act like this guy puts up 15 to 20 every night. Please look it up. That's not what I see with him. Yeah, that's LeBron's fault. They should have won that series. And Ted knows too. I don't care what you say. Should have won that series. You can't lead 75% of the series and then 48 minutes, you dominate 45 minutes. And last 3 minutes, they treat it like the All Star game and then run your butt off and get physical with you. That's embarrassing. That's on the Lakers. Go, you talking about Gordon on defense? They can't. So if you want to know, they can't keep up with Ant. They have nothing for Ant. So let's just get the elephant out the room right now. Let's get that elephant out the room. They've got nothing for Ant. And if Rudy Gobert comes back, when he comes back, he's a free safety. He's roaming. So they're doubling. And then on top of that, they get post position. Who played the best out of everyone in the starting five in game two? Who? Who did? Because Cat was nice last night too. Nazi was good off the bench. They got size. The guys can shoot. They they actually and it's gonna be blasphemous because I'm they yeah Gordon yeah, but and he scored some points last night. But the problem is he don't do that every night. He doesn't do that every night. He's not that kind of player every night. If he was, this series would be different. They always have a different face after it's usually Murray and Jokic. The problem is Michael Port George Jr. That's the one that should have got off. Yeah, Reed was hitting them threes last night. Nobody's gonna care about that. The bottom line was they were just getting worked. They got out hustle, they got out man, they got out physical, they're going against a team that is like a 2.0 version of them. Faster, quicker, hungrier, driven. But the athleticism doesn't matter. Athleticism only matters if we're doing decathlon and we're doing sprints and stuff. That's not why they had a point, as Michael Malone pointed out in the second quarter. It was like a 4-point lead. Minnesota got in that butt. Yes, they did. Ted's right. And you never give it up. You stop fighting. No loose balls, no hustle, and you can't score. And game over. Game was over at halftime. That's it. And you don't have the firepower to come back. Athleticism is an overrated tool. It doesn't always mean much. They can't keep up because they can match them. It's not because, see, if that's the case, then why is Jokic a two-time league MVP, almost a third? They getting ran out of gym because of other things. They getting stripped on the ball because they are sloppy with the ball. Jokic has been the ball handler. Now, only thing Minnesota is doing is that they're stunting that. So Minnesota is covering all those bases. That's it. That's got nothing to do with no athleticism. Shoot, you got to have talent. Yes, no, that's what I always tell Ted about my Miami Heat, because that's what they lack. They good enough to be a threat, but you got to have talent too at the end of the day. But watching this series, Denver doesn't have a real third option to score, and buckets are tougher than you can imagine. I didn't really see that coming because Jokic has been so great. He's covered their flaws up. But Jamal Murray is not really that effective like he was in that Lakers series. And he really wasn't that effective. I remember that shot like yesterday. I was at my aunt's house, actually. They're getting ran out because Minnesota's a better team. And Chris Finch and Mike Malone are like the same person, except he's coaching X's and O's. What I was going to say earlier, because I don't want it to sound blasphemous, because I got to see what happens with Minnesota. But they're almost like a modern day version of the Pistons of 20 years ago. If they go and run the table, that's what I will say about them. Except they got an athletic freak, an Ant. But it's very similar if you really pay attention, because they're very nondescript Everybody for I said if they run the table. Only if they if because what I'm saying, hear me out. The way they beaten Denver, the way they beat Phoenix. And if you go back, those teams that could defend, guard the perimeter, get physical with you, take your best player out. Think about it. That's only if they run the table. I'm only going to use that analogy and I'll make a video for it and Ted can hold me to it. If they go to the finals, I'll make that video. If they don't go to the finals, then I'll just say that it could have been like that. That's what I'm having a psychological flashback to. Because if you think about it, the way the bigs play, Cat, Gobert going after it, the bench, they're a team. I might make that video. And I might put that out there like that because that's what's kind of making me think of it. No, they're not as physical as Sheed and Ben, but it's something about this. It's like I'm having a 20-year flashback. I might do that. If they win this series, because it's something that yeah, I think they and I don't think I don't think nothing's gonna stop them. A Sheet, of course. Because Cat Cat's a better pure scorer. But she did everything else better. And believe me, she went to Detroit and was the X factor. Oh yeah, they'll beat Boston. They'll beat Boston because Ant Ant pretty much cancels Tatum and Brown by himself to an extent. Gobert will be able to freestyle. Cat stands on the perimeter. I think so too. Yeah, and like I said before, give Brunson a Donovan Mitchell or Chris Middleton type, and they beat Boston. They can just all they need is another score, and Julius Randle to be healthy, because they can be in games with teams. You don't really spank the Knicks. You hate that NB wants to play for Knicks. NB, who's in? Yeah, I like Brunson a lot. I just think he needs another free ball. He needs a cherry picker. Yeah, that's what they're missing. A guy who can score, nothing else. He ain't got to really play no defense, but they get a guy. They could be because I'm gonna look at the East like this. The Knicks could be that next team. If Boston don't fool around and get it together, they could be like the Clippers of the East. Okay. Philly, Joel Embiid process. How long is it gonna take, yo? You might have to consider making a move. Miami is the only team that's below the radar. Keep your eye on. Depends on what they can pick up. Depends on what kind of moves. Giannis, are you ever gonna answer that bell? Question marks on him. The Pacers, if they ever learn to play some defense and probably another piece off the bench, could be a problem. Orlando could be a problem with another piece. So you got teams that could be a problematic. But the thing about the East, unlike the West, everybody's a relatively young team, except for probably I said some teams got some players, but everybody's still young in the East. That's the one side. Harris who? What Harris? If Zion is if Zion's in shape and he's got motivation, then yes. He can't be eating on Taco Bell and chalupas. That's the problem he got himself into. Which Harris are you talking about, Tom? Please let me know. Who are you talking about? You we find himself missed the third, fourth option, please. No, JT, I like Zion if he's healthy. Oh, if he's healthy, Ted is right. He's a steal. That's the knocks against him. But let me tell you something. He goes to the Knicks or he goes to Miami, he goes somewhere where he gets an act two and he's in shape. he could be a steal. And yeah, I don't talk about the bias. I did a video about him. I don't talk about the bias. If he's healthy and motivated, if he's healthy and motivated, because I'm gonna tell you something. Zion, if he's healthy and motivated, everything you're saying only comes to him being healthy and motivated. He has to get in shape and has to be motivated. Oh, I ain't no dusting about it because he's the only dude that, if he's healthy and motivated, that plays center, that could be a problem for Joker. Because if you got the right squad around him, the situation, it could be a problem. But we ain't got that. We haven't gotten that from him. So they won't make it happen unless, of course, he's healthy and motivated. I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm gonna sound like a James Brown Rucker. Got to get that hip. Got to get that weight in check. Got to get that mind in check. I don't talk about Tobias because that is why they're at home right now. That turkey averaged 10 points in that series. They beat the Knicks by 5 every game. And that's on Daryl Mortley. I got nothing to do with that. Got nothing to do with that. Waste my time with some scrubs who play scrub ball. You know, I mean, they act like they have to beg him to score 10 points. If he scored 10 in that series, they win that series. That's it. Because all those games with New York were close. Yep. True that. Well, yeah, because if him and Kelly Oubre each scored 10, they beat the Knicks. Just like if Tyler last night for the Pacers scores 10, they win that game. Think about it. I'm not even asking a whole lot. But you scored 6 points, and half of them was that shot before halftime. And then old boy hits that out his behind 3-pointer. And then you go down from a 9-point lead to a 6-point lead. So, Tyler, you got to come up the next game for the Pacers. And see, some people are questioning Jalen Brunson. Brunson do what he's supposed to do. Now, take 100 off of that. That's what some cats be begging. Can you throw your body weight? More like it. But no, that's the difference in that series with Philly. That's what you saw last night with the Pacers. Your so-called leader scored 6 points last night. Let that sink in. All you gotta do is score 10 freaking points, and you win the game. Because he can. And I'm gonna tell you something. I co-signed Pat Riley. How dare Jimmy Butler be popping up about what he would do, what he could do, he didn't do. And Jimmy Butler didn't really put in the work this season. You're not gonna get no calls because you know why? Because Indiana doesn't have no superstars. That's why. But it was still a winnable game. But you're not gonna. Yeah, that screen was dumb at the end. But that's in New York. But Brunson is lighting up the boards. People like you gotta win the game. You can't always depend on the rest. We could sit here and call against the rest all we want. You gotta play ball. I know one thing, your best player got to do more than score 6 points. I know that. And it ain't like he's going against uh I'll address that in just a second. It ain't like he's going up against a strong New York Knicks team that's stopping the perimeter. I don't know about him carrying because Bam looks pretty good to me. And how you yeah, I know he did, but but again, Bam's played good this past year. Jimmy ain't wasn't healthy. Jimmy has been streaky. No, he ain't. He ain't supposed to. Do you know Pat Riley comes with jewelry? Now, those two runner ups is nice, but they got a standard in Miami. Can you win a ring? That's what makes you great. Jimmy's not a great player. He's a very good player. Just putting it 100. Can you win a ring? Okay. I'm with Pat Riley 100 on that. And I don't, there's things about Pat Riley I might not agree with, but that's no argument. He only get traded if they think they could get some pieces for him. But they win with him? And I don't think so. Because I don't think he's that kind of dude. Just like, you know, I just don't think he's that dude that you can win with. I think he's a complimentary second piece. They still are missing a legit top player. I don't know if he had a choice in the matter. His underrated skill, he don't have to say much. It's loud and clear. He reads the room really crazy. No, it ain't. Because the thing with that is that he didn't play defense. He's not an assist man. He's not really a rebounder. He's a stat pattern, shoots them three range, half court, and he really um, doesn't really offer anything. It was more set up to create a fantasy than it was to create a reality. And the problem is what he was doing in Portland. So he ain't really changed his game. He doing what he did, and I don't really see anything different because I watch his Portland games. I ain't seen nothing different with Dame. I think that people thought by him and Giannis getting together it'd be a 1-2 punch, but the problem is that you still got to play defense. Deep bag of what? Oreos? What you got? Oreo cookies? Dame is basically like a right-handed version of James Harden, and he ain't got Harden's triple double game. Okay, Dame was missed a second round casualty for most of his career in Portland. As an offensive scoring machine, now Harden then went further than Dame did. No, because he's a never was. There's a difference. He ain't no choker. He's a never was. At least if you're a choker, I can say I hold you in high regards. Dame's a never was. And James Harden is better too. I'll take James Harden, Alex, for 500. There's nothing Dame can do to me that moves me more than James Harden. I'm more disappointed in James Harden than I've ever been with Dame. Dame is basically like Trey with a better shot and better skill set. That's it. Trey Young upgrade. I'll take that because at least I got expectations. I don't have no expectations for Dame Lillard. James Harden, I had expectations for. Dame's a great offensive talent. I mean, he can score. Yep. Yep. Because I had expect because James Harden was stepping on some toes. You know, we wondered if James Harden could be in a conversation with D Wade and Kobe and Jordan. We don't say that about no Dame Lillard in a conversation with Steph or somebody like that. We don't. I don't pay them no mind. In fact, none of those LA teams get any play from me. No, they don't, because if he gets fired, the Lakers are gonna scoop him up. And I heard on the low, Steve Barron ain't gonna let that happen. They not letting Ty Lue go. It's not Ty Lue's fault. It's not his fault. They underachieving and underwork. It's their fault. They the ones that suck. Shh. Well, I don't know what they're gonna do, and I could care less. But I know both the LA teams suck. They stuck with old men who gonna have plenty of time to get ready for the Olympics, fresh and fit. They got plenty of time, and basically, it's embarrassing in LA. You know, so. But I don't want to talk about wasted teams. Fresh and fit. That's right. You know how that go. But I mean, I'll talk about them old dead weight teams. Yeah, how you want to call it, but it's just like when we talk about dead weight teams, that's what ends up happening. I'm not trying to even indulge that mess, you know. But the Lakers and the Clippers ain't no West Coast team worth talking about, really, except for Denver, really, and that's Midwest. So if the Mavs beat the Thunder, the NBA will love it. Yeah, I mean, Luca, I got Minnesota all the way. But I mean, that would be a blockbuster matchup too, because Luca and Kyrie against what Minnesota's got. Yep. I mean, that would be entertaining as all get. Now that one would be entertaining, but I think Minnesota beats that butt too, because Dallas is a lot like Denver. They don't really play. Yeah, I see how Rachel Nichols talked about him recently, and I cringed. Like he's a good boy or something. Cracked me up. But they slurp Luca. But the thing is this: I got to see what kind of defense they go against OKC. I got to see how they set up on the inside, you know, because they had a couple of games against the Clippers where they let Harden and PG go off. So I got to see what they do. The reason why I don't have more faith in Dallas like you is because of their defense. So, and I'm not so sure that if Kawhi plays that they get by him. I'm just gonna keep it 100. I just don't buy him like that. But they might hate Kyrie, but they didn't expect nothing with Minnesota. Are you kidding me? Minnesota gets no TV time. Okay, how you gonna have the most exciting player, arguably in the league, with them two trees, and they can't even get on PBS. There's no Minnesota Timberwolves on the local channels. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, Kyrie can. And he look healthy as ever. Like I said, I want OKC to win, but I wouldn't be surprised. I expect that to be a battle. I think that series will be more memorable than this one. But I do think the winner of the Minnesota Denver series is going to go to the finals. I just do. And there's something about Ant, just sense it and feel it. So, it's possible. It would be because you're talking about guys who can go at you and create. And that's a knockdown drag fight right there. But if 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 Minnesota's if Gobert is freestyling like that, and they don't get no foul trouble, it's going. Let's first thing first. Let's see how Dallas OKC go. I don't want to speculate because I got to see which way it goes. I won't know nothing. The reason why I know about Minnesota and Denver because it's playing out the way it is. I know nothing about OKC and Dallas. The keys for Dallas to win, obviously, Luca has to. They have to play, a certain way. They do. Ant reminds me of Jordan, D Wade, Kobe, Um, it's a lot of different people. He's got a KD coldness about him too, which I could see the influence. So, well, OKC. Let's see what happens in the series. I don't know after a couple games. You know, let's see what Luca does. Because the thing about that series is going to come down. I think it's going to come down to the bench. So what Dallas picked up against OKC, they got to expose them young boys. Got to see what happens. So we'll see. Well, like I said before, Minnesota's got a recipe. I'm liking what Chris Finchton did. I'm watching it unfold. He done turned a lot of heads around. They're a very stacked team. They do. Ted's right. But again, that law firm of Tatum and Brown been around almost a decade, and they got one finals to show for it. So this is put up or shut up with them. And I know the league wants Tatum to come up. No, I think this is their chance. Now, the only reason why that was romanticized was because they went Tatum against Steph. Well, Miami is a feisty team. Jimmy Butler, I mean, styles. Styles matter. One thing you got to learn about this is styles matter. It's not about who's got more talent on paper. It's styles. You know. So we'll see. Yeah, we were talking about him, and I talk about him because he's definitely put you in a certain frame of mind. I just like how the game comes to him. Yeah, but what has he done since then? Like you said in the past tense, and he went to a lot of Eastern Conference Finals. Got one final to show for it. Yes, they are. Well, remember they replaced Kyrie and they replaced Gordon Hayward. So you fast forward now, they got one finals to show for it. Not exactly a team I have a lot of high hopes for, considering the league slurps him and wants them. In America, he will. But as I was watching Rasheed Wallace and Bonzi Wells, they said Wamba Wamba. Is the NBA gonna want Victor Wimby? It's gonna be the Wimby Wimby. So it's gonna come down to who wins and what they want. When we do these live streams, Ted always is talking about people going to the Spurs. I think Ted must know what's going on with Adam Silver's front desk. I believe that. Minnesota ain't gonna have to do nothing except tweak a couple things what they add off the bench. But San Antonio is gonna definitely attract a lot of pieces. So, oh yeah, you know what's happening. Well, right now, Minnesota looks like the best team I've seen. I thought it was Denver, but Minnesota clearly looks like the best team I didn't see. So that's who I think I would favor right now. I don't know who you is, but first I gotta know who you are. And we're doing a live stream, so you can say hello. Yeah. Oh yeah. Because Porzingis gets back and White's off the bench. They play the defense. And if they can beat Cleveland in 5 or 6, whoever they play out of New York, Indiana, 5 or 6, they can't have any lap games. If they have lap games, they're done. A lap game is like against Miami in the first round. They let Miami win a game. Those are lap games. You can't give up games like that. So yeah, one of the problems that I have with Boston is that they have those lap games, and they have a moment where they have a moment of lapse, and they'll let you, you know. Well, first of all, you gotta get by the Pacers. So don't act like the Pacers gonna be chopped liver. Pacers are gonna be a problem because they can score. And if they figure out how to use Miles Turner the right way and Tyler can actually have more than 6 points in a game, that's a long series, yo. So, because one thing, the Pacers don't play no defense. So if it comes a higher scoring and Pascal could be a problem. So if Rick Carlisle makes the right coaching adjustments, they gotta find a way to slow the game down, make it half court. They figure out against Milwaukee. They gotta figure it out against this team. But if they fool and let Jalen Brunson stand there and dance and streak on him, he puts 35 and bust their cakes, they won't last long. But I just don't like their defense at all, and that's the problem I see with them. So they're gonna have a hard time in this series if they don't get down. They gotta switch their mindset. They gotta at least figure out a way to slow the game down. Well, Jalen knows how to play. But if the Pacers can get, rough them up, score points, they got to figure out a way. They got to steal the game, the next game in New York. Or got to make it competitive. And they were in this game. So it wasn't like they rolled over and played dead. But I'm not getting to all this villain. I don't care where these guys went to college. You talked to the wrong person. I mean, I know what but I'm not sitting around impressed. I mean, I'm looking at how they fit in the NBA because more importantly, I'm looking at their structure and their style, you know, and just telling you what it takes for them to win this series. That's cool, but what it takes for them to beat the Pacers. Yeah. So did Al Horford. So did Joakim Noah. What you want me to do? I mean, Tia talk about this all the time. I don't really, I know guys had success in college, but does it really matter anymore like that? Because it doesn't really, you know, I remember. But it doesn't really, say anything about how your pro career is going to be. So many things have to go in your favor. Because Dante is like a second, third wheel. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry to hear that. You got stories too. I didn't know. Rest in peace. I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't know. I bet you do. Bet you do. I watched the game, but as I tell Ted all the time, I'm one of the worst people to keep up with modern day college basketball because you get some teams that can run back, but unless a guy stands out or something stands out, because everybody goes to the pros, I just don't, you know. Yeah, sorry to hear that. And that's the only reason. I remember guys, but I don't really look at anybody like I go, ooh, Because again, when it comes to the pros, I got to see what the system is, how they turn out, what they do. Like, let me give you an example. Blake Griffin was picked over Steph Curry. Did anybody see Steph Curry being that guy like that? So you just don't know. Yeah. Okay. All right. See what we're working with. Yeah, I'm not entertaining that. Thank you, Ted. I really don't really wanna I felt sorry for the situation, and I did say rest in peace, but you know, no, I'm gonna give him, yeah, but he wasn't the Steph Curry that he became, and more people pick Blake Griffin as the number one draft pick. That's one point I'm trying to say. I can't say that I see guys that necessarily are going to come out, because college is different still, even though it's more prorated. You know, I didn't say anything. I'll let you talk. I'm not saying anything. That's the guys were saying it. And all I said was, I heard what you're saying. All I'm gonna address this is this. I was listening to your story, and all I said was, yeah, I got you. What I was saying was is that I said rest in peace, and yeah, and all I said was is that I never know how guys are gonna turn out because guys play a certain way in college does not mean they're gonna be like that. No, there ain't no name calling. Ted said what he said, and it's just how he felt. I'm not gonna get into no words about that. You know, I'm not blocking you unless you troll or say something that is detrimental or inappropriate. You were speaking your piece, and like I said, rest in peace to your ex, and you were having a moment. Your story is quite different than mine because the last time I was on a couch with an ex was a baseball game. So I'm not gonna get into no. But let's just say I didn't see Steph Curry being quite like he was from Davis, and not that guy. And Blake Griffin was seen as a top pick, and you just never know how guys are gonna turn out. That's all. So, but I do appreciate Ted, and there's no, just because you exchange, there's a ways of wording things. Ted is a smart cat. No arguments there. I think the whole thing was because we got veered off about Villanova. And again, I don't, and all I was going to say is this: you can say a guy because where he went to college, but do I really hold credence to that now for me? No, I don't. And because Ted and I talk about this all the time, I really don't because cats don't really play college basketball like that no more. You're not going to get a Tim Duncan that goes to 4 years to a Wake Forest. So it's kind of futile for me to even have a discussion because most of these cats play one and done, and very seldom two. So that's why college basketball, even more than ever, is like a plantation and a picking auction because now that they're paying cats, but if you're that good, you'll come out. JT, I'm gonna say this right now. I believe you. I'm not making any more about it. Sorry if you got your feelings hurt. And I'm not, I believe you. And you had that moment. Only thing I said was, and I was telling Ted, as he knows, I don't really, all due respect to you, I watch college basketball, but I watch it like in increments. I'm not really a college basketball. I know the players and I see somebody come out, but I'm not bedazzled like I once was because I go back in the 80s to about 94, 95. But as I tell Ted all the time, since 95, I really don't care because when you lost Kevin Garnett, when you lost Kobe Bryant, Amari Stoudemire, and it was somebody else before I get to LeBron. That's like almost 30 years of four of guys. So you can't really look at college basketball hardly and think we've seen the best players, the best teams. Carmelo did a one and done. So think about it, you know. So that's why I'm getting at. There's an era that these cats don't go past year two. So, and that's the reality. So, that's all I was trying to say with that. Glad to hear you got a story. And if you root for a team in college, like I was rooting for South Carolina to win because that whole Caitlin Clark thing got on my nerve. But that's a different entity altogether. That's women's basketball. It's not like the fellas. And as a matter of fact, to substantiate and Ted can co-sign this too, men's college basketball sucked for the most part, even though they get back-to-back champ. Well, I think the Celtics will win. But if Cleveland wins, that's huge because no one's giving them a chance. They seem as soft and as an easy out, which that's the reputation they got because everyone said Boston didn't want to play Orlando, they wanted Cleveland. So that's what I'm saying. Whether you like Caitlin Clark or not, or however you come down, or Don Stanley, or you had LSU, you had Angel, you had, and UConn's women's basketball. So you had 4 women's basketball teams that were more compelling than the men's. He's not like Kyrie though. Yeah, well they will if you got the right talent. Donovan can score, but he ain't Kyrie. He ain't Kyrie. If he was Kyrie, he wouldn't be considered trade bait all the time. And the difference is that Kyrie could go off. He ain't Kyrie. No, no. Donovan was called out by Shaq some years ago and said, "You ain't a superstar. You're a very good player and a great cherry picker." And one, I'm gonna tell you this: put him with the Knicks with Berenson, put him with Embiid. Different type though, different type, but not seen as that dude. Kyrie can be that dude. We talk about Kyrie's handles most skilled ever. We talk about him with Steph. We don't say Donovan Mitchell. We say Donovan's like a broke Junior Whopper Dwayne Wade, which is a compliment, but he ain't Dwayne Wade. Whereas Kyrie, we hold him with cats that had handles that could take over. There's a difference. Kyrie hit the game-winning shot in Game 7 against Golden State in 2016. What has Donovan Mitchell ever done that's that memorable? I'm listening. So, until Donovan Mitchell, that's why Kyrie, even though for better or for worse, when he went to Boston, Brooklyn, he earned a pass. So did Jamal Murray. There was a few guys that went off in the bubble. I can't think of the other cat name who went off in the bubble too. It's somebody else. But it didn't mean anything. And right now, Rudy Gobert, thank you, Ted. Thank you, thank you. Jamal did go off in the bubble. He had some big games too. Because Jamal is playoff Jamal. The most disrespected guard that's out there. That's another story. Thank you, Ted. Yeah, he got Gobert playing in his position, and he making him utilize him the right way. Donovan didn't do that. Ted is hitting at 100. 100. That's 100. That's true. You couldn't have sold me that anybody could have had Gobert and Cat looking like tough dudes. They were considered the goofballs, softies, Mr. Frosties. Now them two are in position that if they win this series, which they're gonna beat Denver and wait the next round, they got a chance to like some real mean twin towers. So now Ants got them cats looking like beasts, and you don't want to see them in a dark alley. Donovan is a scorer, he no leader. That's what I'm trying to say in English. Yes, I already know that. That's what I just got through saying. A dangerous scorer though. Yeah, I do too. I like his because he's like Michael Malone. They get details, they get results. He's not as animated as Malone, but he gets results. They grind. No, Ants get more out of Gobert because he's making him feel like he belongs. Him and Donovan were like two cats vying for stat padding, or they was just trying to show off. I didn't sense no camaraderie. I didn't see no unity. I didn't see no chemistry. Ants got them loose, but they're on point. They're very detailed. But they look like a team that plays in concert together. See, and it's not someone stat padding and you go get 20 rebounds and I'll score 30 points. Yeah, comfortable number two, looking like Kevin Durant, comfortable. Exactly. I'm not comparing Cat to KD, so don't start. What I'm saying is, if you let him stand on that top of the key of that 3 point side like he like to stand on, hey, he looks as cool as a cucumber. He ain't scared of nothing. He's calm. He's poised. He can do that. And then on defense, he's running you down. He's altering your shot. He's making his presence felt. And they loose. They are loose. That's why I made that kind of comparison. Could they be? Yep. Because he stands on the same spot. He's glued to that left of center three, like Carmelo Anthony was glued to that top on the right side, you know. And that's the fact that you got to give it up because you're not going to run. Yep. You're not going to run your bigs out there. So it's a tough proposition when you play against a team that can take you out like that. So I'm impressed. And I give Ant his due. Because you couldn't have sold me on that team a year ago like that. There's no way I would have seen the Timberwolves looking like that. They look like big frosties and softies. And now they look like a team that you don't want to have to deal with. Like I said, and his peak and prime won't be for another 5 or 6 years. That's the scary part. He could be doing some things. He could be. I can sense it already, though. That's why I said I got him over Garnett already. It ain't favorable to say, but he do what I think he gonna do. You won't argue with me. You'll think I'm a Stradamus or something, but I really ain't. It's just that I've been watching his evolution, and I'm watching what they're doing right now. It's in real time. He's that good. He is that good. And the scary part is outside shot will only get better. If he's healthy, motivated, and God, he doesn't get no bad injuries, or he's able to stay where he is. Yes, yes, yep. And I don't say that about a lot of people. So if I go and I'm not bragging on myself, but if I anoint you, if I see something in you, I don't need a lot of tape to see you. I got a good feeling about you. I do. And he's one of the few guys that I'm seeing in the league that I can say that about. Because Jokic is special too. He's a machine. And they will attract a free agent. They will get him a freestyle scorer. They'll get somebody that you didn't see coming. Because that's all they really need. Then that'll be a serious against Minnesota. He got the upside. Once he once he learns how to pace himself and he gets a guard that can complement him, he got the upside. Giannis is still too. That man made himself into a great player. That took a lot of hard work from where he came from. I do too. I think you will. I think you will. I think that that's what's going to happen. Because it's a younger man's, especially in the West. That's what you're seeing. So Steph, LeBron, Kawhi, KD, unless y'all get together or something magical happens, you don't want none of that. Unless, of course, one of these guys morphs back into Zion and then they fall back into the pack. But you see in the West, You can get old real quick. You can get old real quick. Because De'Aaron Fox, the clock could be ticking if you don't get Sacramento going. Zion, Brandon Ingram in New Orleans, the clock be ticking if you don't get something going. Ja Morant, if you don't get it going, the clock be ticking. You see where I'm doing with this? And then you see those four teams that are up there? Now think about what I just said. And you know good and well Phoenix, Golden State, and the Lakers are in trouble. So what does that say about Memphis, New Orleans, and yeah, Phoenix, New Orleans, and Memphis? Y'all better get on the ball. I'm in Sacramento. You better get on the ball. You ain't gonna have a lot of time because Houston's coming next year. Udoka gonna come out, so I'm watching. The West is gonna be stacked. John Morant, yeah, yep, because he getting old. Because you know why? Because Shea is him right now. Shea is him, and then you got Ant. You were the man 2 years ago. They good, but they don't play no defense, and they basically are like the Pacers of the West, but they have injuries. The bench is suspect. He is gonna be old news. Well, I'm not gonna call Zion over because he did have a game this year at the end, but he know what he need to do. If he don't get it together by the next couple of years, he will be because he can get old real quick. So that's how tough it is, though. All right, I got 7 more minutes. 7 more minutes before I got roll. So let's get into some more conversation. I think we got some. I like Chat. He just needs a little more meat on his bones, and I think about a couple more years of seasoning. And then I'll be curious if they can attract another scorer. They can get another perimeter player. That'd be interesting. I like Chad. They got a nice young squad. You know, I don't like Giddy. And then not just because of the situation, but I just don't think that he's really that, consistent. But they got some pieces. They could definitely be a problem. You know, we'll see. Yeah, I did a video about that and I talked about others, but no one cares though. Riddick ain't gonna be ridiculed about that because nobody cares. It's not that big in the sense against him because it's bigger that he said it, but the reason why is because they're not gonna make a big deal about it against him. That's not gonna stop him from getting no job. And he's got the complexion for the protection for the direction, so they ain't gonna stop him. It's gonna be like the Dana White slap. Wasn't Dana White at the Tom Brady roast? See what I mean? Don't get me started. We can sit there and do videos all day about that. And you white, you do what you like. Because Shannon is not kissing the ring no more. And besides, LeBron likes the white boy love. Pay attention. Pay attention. I tell you about it here live. I have to bring it here live about that. You bring that up, I don't say nothing until someone brings it up. Like I said, he likes the white boy attention. He ain't so deep as he was in the past. Think about it. You don't think these folks are in bed with him because he's giving them Nat Turner vibes, you know. No, I didn't say anything about fruity. When I say the white vibes, it's like Jeannie Buss and Rambo's wife and all that, and how they, you know, I don't have no goat. I like too many players that I would debate that with. I don't think it's fair because of eras. Um, it's too much. It's too much. But I know one thing. Uh, I'd put Jordan before that, but I don't know. I wouldn't have no one. LeBron would be like in my 9 to 10 slot. It's not favorable, fashionable to say that he's in my 9 to 10 slot. That's the only thing Skip Bayless never said that I agree with. He's not in my top 5 at all because I saw better players and I saw better players that dominated. And I don't think that he belongs in that argument. Yeah, I know the stats we're going to read off, but I don't think that I just don't feel that he belongs in that argument. I don't. One of the 10 greatest players, I'll give him that. But was he more dominant than Steph Curry? Now scoring, then we take stats, but if we go by the rings, the impact, the direction of your team, nope. You know. So I have to take all that and weigh all that. And I don't like the narrative of Jordan and LeBron. It's like who came up with that cuckoo idea? Because if you saw Michael Jordan play, which I did, and even though Jordan might not necessarily be my number one GOAT, compared to LeBron James, he's 100 times better. He should. Because he's looking worse now. I mean, you got Michael Wilborn. I might even do a video about that. I was stunned. I nearly spit my teeth out when I saw Michael Wilborn saying, "You the GOAT," and he came out. I was like, "Oh." Jordan, Kareem, Magic. You can make Kobe, Duncan. Okay. Dirk though. Dirk. You got to explain that Dirk one. That's the one that seems like an oddity, but I understand generational. I like Dirk, but I wouldn't have him in my top 10. But okay. That's what I was saying. Look, I like Dirk, and I might have Dirk somewhere in my. Dirk might be in my 14 to. Oh, I'll give you that. And I will say this in his defense. Arguably the toughest finals run to win it all. Um, 30 plus thousand points. And at the time when he got traded for Robert Tractor Trailer, no one thought of him as even the half of what he became. So from that perspective, I'm not arguing that. But I can't have him. But I can't have him on no Bill Russell. I can't have him on no Wilt Chamberlain. I can't do it. And I don't know if he was better than Elijah one. And I don't know if he was better than Dr. J. So I'm just keeping it 100. See, but I do like Dirk a lot. As a matter of fact, I got Dirk over Kevin Durant. I'll give you that. And I have him up there. But I don't have Dirk over Dwayne Wade. I said that to you last night. But not because of how he's playing now. You know, not because of that. That's why it's tough for me to have these lists. He was cold, you know. And I got Dream over Dirk. But I like Dirk a lot. Make no mistake about it. And I'm gonna tell you something. He's the closest thing. Well, Jokic might make an argument. They're the two closest thing to a foreign white version of Larry Bird I've seen. But in different ways though. However you want your 10. You know, it's your list. For now. But if Jokic wins another ring, another MVP, they about neck and neck. Because if he gets another league MVP, they neck and neck. It just comes down to what you like better. That's all. KD about 26 to 30 now. Scoring wise, he'd be up there, but yeah. He's definitely post Golden State then fell off where he was. And when Steph won that ring, that buried him. And then these last couple of years, he didn't buried himself. Well, yeah. Oh, no, it's just his totality fell off. Again, you got to win. Everybody knows that if he wins a third ring and a third finals MVP, he'd be top 10. Not to me, because I didn't think like other people. I thought Steph was perfect for him. That was the best fit he could ever ask for. And now he went and tried to recreate it, and it didn't work. Because what crackhead for Cocoa Puffs would think that Kyrie and Bradley Beal was Steph Curry? What crackhead for Cocoa Puffs was going to think that James Harden and Devin Booker were Klay Thompson? I know. He tried to do that LeBron thing. So let's say he keeps winning. It only enhances his legacy with me because they are a dynasty. And why would you wreck up a good thing? They would be probably considered they would be considered the baddest duo since Shaq and Kobe. And probably the most lethal. Yeah. Because you really couldn't. I mean, when he was standing in his shots, it was scary. He stood over LeBron. He shot them shots. He was a different animal. He didn't have to leave. It was peer pressure. Draymond ran his mouth. Well, no, that wasn't what ruined it. It was actually Bob Myers. It wasn't Draymond. Yeah, Draymond could have been dealt with. But when Bob Myers, they had that finals when they won the second ring, and Bob Myers got there and said, "Oh, we got him as a rental," or some crap he said. That was a cold remark. They treated him like we just rented you. Treat him like a 304. So he never felt wanted or loved. He said, "What I gotta do?" But he was his best there though. Well, and remember, he played that one game against Toronto, and he looked good. He got hurt. So they weren't gonna work. He didn't want to be LeBron's puppet. That's what it came down to. He did what everybody else couldn't do. Ask yourself. You saw how LeBron left D Wade, so Kyrie's like, I'm not gonna stand around. He was younger and he wanted his own team. And he didn't want to be in the shadows. No, Golden State was a better team, and sometimes you just lose to a better team. That's all. You gotta live with it. LeBron created an avenue, and others and some cats took that were from that core took a side to it. I ain't got no problem with it because I thought he played great in Golden State. He looked his best. He was scary. He plays like he want to play, where he don't really want to go off and score 40, 50. He can just stay neutral. You drive a car, you know how the automatics are. Well, forget an automatic. You know how the electric cars are now. They just go. That's how he was in Golden State. He was like smooth, like an aircraft. And they tried that with Brooklyn, and it worked okay. He do, but it's effective when he's got an alpha, or as Charles and them like to say, when he can bus ride. He's dangerous. But when he's got to do it himself, like what happened in Phoenix, and it don't work. It don't work. He's a better version of Devin Booker, but they're in the same boat. If they don't have an alpha or someone who knows to smooth out their edges, it's not going to work. And that's what they got. They thought they were going to play hot potato with three guys scoring a bunch of points with no one sacrificing, and it didn't work. Anyway, I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to get ready to roll. Appreciate everybody coming through. I will be back, God willing, another 24 hours. We will discuss all of them got that Kardashian curse. James Harden did too. We will discuss the game ones, get some feedback. Glad we smoothed some stuff out. No tension, no beef. Let's keep it real. Ain't gonna turn this into Kendrick and Drake up in here. We're gonna keep well, we some grown folks, we're gonna keep it together. Just difference of opinion about some stuff, but let's keep it as one. Let's keep the pace up in here. So as I always say, stay blessed, stay warm, stay safe. Till next time, I will be back, God willing, and we will discuss them game ones, see how everything goes, and appreciate the comments, the thoughts, wishes, and everything. And have a good one. All right, I'm out.